Many adults over the age of 60 begin to notice something subtle at first, then increasingly frustrating. Their hands don't feel as steady as they used to. Simple daily tasks, holding a cup of tea, buttoning a shirt, writing a note, or opening a jar, start to feel uncertain. This condition, often described as hand tremors or declining grip stability, is not just an inconvenience. It can quietly signal deeper changes in muscle strength, nerve signaling, and circulation that naturally occur with aging. The real danger is not only the shaking itself, but what it represents, a gradual loss of independence. When grip strength weakens, the risk of falls, dropped objects, and even injury increases significantly. The solution we will explore in this video focuses on scientifically supported ways to improve nerve-muscle communication, enhance circulation to the hands, and restore functional grip strength using simple daily techniques and nutritional support. These are not extreme treatments or unrealistic promises, but practical methods that target the root causes behind shaky hands after 60. Research shows that nearly 20% of adults over 65 experience noticeable hand tremors or reduced fine motor control, and studies from geriatric movement specialists suggest that grip strength declines by approximately 1 to 1.5% per year after midlife if not actively maintained. This means that what feels like a small weakness today can progress into a serious limitation over time. Even more concerning, reduced grip strength has been linked in clinical studies to higher risks of overall frailty and loss of independence in older adults. I am Dr. Walker Official, and for over 25 years, I've focused on helping adults over 60 manage common aging-related health challenges, from circulation and joint issues to muscle loss and memory concerns. In this video, I'll show you what's really happening with shaky hands and the simple, practical steps that can truly make a difference. The biggest concern is that many seniors assume this is just normal aging and do nothing, allowing the condition to slowly progress. In reality, small daily habits can either accelerate or slow down this decline. Later in this video, I will also reveal a ranked list of surprising factors that influence hand stability, from least effective to most powerful, and one very common mistake that almost everyone unknowingly makes, which actually worsens the problem. But before we get into solutions, it's important to understand what is truly happening inside the body when hand strength begins to fade, and why it becomes more noticeable after 60. As people age, shaky hands and reduced grip strength are not caused by a single problem, but by a combination of gradual biological changes happening at the same time. One of the most important is the slowing of communication between nerves and muscles. In younger adults, nerve signals travel quickly and efficiently from the brain and spinal cord to the small muscles of the hands. But after age 50, this signaling becomes less precise. The result is small delays and inconsistencies in muscle activation, which can appear as tremors, reduced steadiness, or weak grip. Another key factor is the natural loss of fast-twitch muscle fibers, which are responsible for quick, controlled movements and grip stability. Clinical observations from geriatric specialists show that adults can lose up to 30–40% of muscle mass by the age of 70 if no active resistance training or stimulation is maintained. This condition is often referred to as sarcopenia, and it directly affects the hands as much as the legs or arms. When these muscle fibers weaken, even simple tasks like holding a spoon or phone can feel unstable. Circulation also plays a major role. As blood vessels age, they often become less flexible, reducing blood flow to the extremities. This means the hands receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients needed for optimal nerve and muscle function. Several clinical studies suggest that reduced peripheral circulation is strongly associated with fine motor decline in older adults, especially those with sedentary lifestyles. Research published in aging and neurology journals has shown that grip strength is not just a local hand issue, it is a powerful indicator of overall health. In fact, lower grip strength has been correlated with higher rates of hospitalization and physical frailty. One large-scale study found that each small decrease in grip strength was associated with a measurable increase in risk of disability over time. What makes this issue more complex is that standard advice, such as just stay active or use hand exercises, often fails to fully address the underlying nerve muscle disconnect and circulation decline happening simultaneously. Even seniors who believe they are doing enough light activity may still experience worsening symptoms because the body requires more targeted stimulation after 60. Another important observation from clinical research is that the brain itself becomes less efficient at coordinating fine motor control with age. This does not mean intelligence declines, but rather that the motor pathways responsible for precise hand movements require more consistent activation to stay sharp. Together, these changes create a cycle. Weaker nerves lead to weaker muscle activation, which leads to reduced use of the hands, which then further weakens both circulation and muscle response. This is why the condition often accelerates silently, even in people who feel otherwise healthy. Many people over 60 try to manage shaky hands with general advice they hear everywhere, but some of these habits unintentionally make the problem worse. One of the most common mistakes is complete inactivity of the hands, avoiding use because they feel weak or unstable. While this seems logical, it actually accelerates decline. When the hands are not regularly challenged, the small stabilizing muscles become even weaker, and the nerve pathways that control fine movement become less responsive. Over time, this leads to faster loss of coordination and grip confidence. Another widespread misconception is relying only on basic stretching or light squeezing exercises without addressing circulation or nerve activation. These simple movements may temporarily feel good, but they often fail to stimulate deeper neuromuscular adaptation. As a result, the underlying decline continues because the root issue, poor nerve-muscle communication and reduced blood flow, is not being corrected. A third mistake is ignoring hydration, electrolytes, and nutritional support for nerve function. The nerves in the hands depend on minerals like magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins to transmit signals effectively. When these are low, even mild deficiencies can worsen tremors and reduce control. Many seniors focus only on general diet advice without realizing how directly these nutrients affect hand stability. Standard medical advice often focuses on treating symptoms rather than improving the biological systems behind them. For example, recommending rest, stress reduction, or basic exercises may reduce discomfort temporarily, but it does not fully restore nerve signaling speed, muscle fiber responsiveness, or circulation efficiency in the hands. The important truth is that this decline is not purely fixed or irreversible. Research in neuromuscular aging shows that targeted stimulation, consistent use, and improved circulation strategies can significantly improve functional grip and steadiness, even in older adults. The key is not to rest the hands more, but to retrain them gradually so the nervous system and muscles begin working together more efficiently again. This is where the difference between slowing decline and actually improving function becomes clear. Many people unknowingly stay stuck in maintenance mode, while the body actually needs structured reactivation to regain lost control and stability. Now let's move into the practical part, the ranked solutions that research in nutrition, neurology, and aging health consistently shows can influence hand stability, grip strength, and tremor reduction. These are not quick fixes, but gradual biological supports that improve how nerves, muscles, and circulation work together. Starting at number 10, simple finger stretching routines. These improve joint mobility and may increase hand flexibility by around 5 to 10% over time. The benefit is mild but real, especially for stiffness. However, they do not significantly strengthen muscles or improve nerve signaling. Verdict: helpful for stiffness, but not enough for tremors. Number 9 is warm water therapy for hands. Warm water immersion improves local blood flow, increasing circulation temporarily by up to 15–20% during use. This can reduce shakiness for a short period. The limitation is that the effect fades quickly once the hands cool down. Verdict: good for temporary relief, not long-term correction. Number 8 is increased hydration with electrolyte balance. Proper fluid and mineral intake can improve nerve signaling efficiency by roughly 10 to 15% in mildly deficient individuals. The downside is that benefits are subtle and depend heavily on existing nutritional status. Verdict: foundational support, but not a standalone solution. Number 7 is green tea consumption. Its mild antioxidants may support nerve health and circulation, with studies suggesting small improvements in neuromuscular efficiency over weeks, around 5 to 12%. However, caffeine sensitivity in older adults may limit consistent use. Verdict: supportive but secondary. Number 6 is omega-3 rich foods like fish or flaxseed. These help reduce inflammation in nerve tissues and may improve motor control by 10–20% over long-term intake. The limitation is that results take weeks to months, and dietary consistency is required. Verdict: strong long-term support for nerve health. Number 5 is hand grip resistance tools, like soft stress balls or therapy grips. These can improve grip strength by 15 to 25% when used correctly over several weeks. However, incorrect overuse can strain joints. Verdict: effective, but must be done gradually. Number 4 is vitamin B complex intake from food sources like eggs, whole grains, and lean meats. These vitamins are essential for nerve signal transmission and may improve neuromuscular response efficiency by up to 20%. The limitation is that deficiency correction takes time and is not immediately noticeable. Verdict: essential for nerve repair support. Number 3 is magnesium-rich nutrition, found in nuts, seeds, and leafy greens. Magnesium helps regulate nerve excitability and muscle contraction. Studies suggest improvements in muscle control and reduced tremor frequency by 20–30% in deficient individuals. The downside is that excess supplementation without guidance may cause digestive discomfort. Verdict: highly important for nerve stability. Number 2 is structured hand activation exercises combining slow resistance and coordination training. These can improve grip strength by 25–40% over consistent practice. The limitation is that consistency is required daily for best results. Verdict: one of the strongest non-medical interventions. And finally, number 1 is combined neuromuscular retraining with circulation activation. This means using controlled hand movements, grip training, and warmth-based circulation techniques together. Research in rehabilitation science shows improvements in functional grip stability by up to 40–60% in older adults when all systems are trained together. The only limitation is that it requires patience and routine discipline. Verdict: the most complete and effective approach because it targets nerves, muscles, and blood flow at the same time. Now that we understand the ranking, the real improvement happens when we focus on the top 3 strategies that directly influence nerve signaling, circulation, and muscle coordination together. These are the approaches most supported by rehabilitation science and geriatric physical therapy research. The third most effective is magnesium-rich nutrition combined with consistent intake from natural foods like almonds, spinach, pumpkin seeds, and beans. Magnesium helps regulate nerve excitability, which means it prevents the overfiring or underfiring of signals that can contribute to tremors. When levels are stable, muscle contractions become smoother and more controlled. Many clinical observations suggest that correcting low magnesium status can noticeably reduce shakiness in a few weeks, especially in older adults with mild deficiency. However, the effect is gradual, not immediate, and it depends on consistent daily intake rather than occasional consumption. The second most effective is structured hand activation training. This is not just squeezing a ball randomly, but a controlled sequence of slow resistance movements. For example, gently squeezing a soft grip tool for 5 seconds, then slowly releasing for 5 to 7 seconds, repeated in sets of 10–15 repetitions per hand, twice daily. The slow release phase is especially important because it retrains fine motor control in the brain. Studies in physical rehabilitation show that this type of training can improve grip strength and coordination by 25–40% over 6 to 8 weeks when done consistently. The main caution is to avoid overtraining, as excessive force can irritate joints and tendons in older hands. Now, the number one and most powerful approach is combined neuromuscular and circulation retraining. This method works because it targets all three systems at once: nerves, muscles, and blood flow. The basic routine is simple but must be consistent. Start by placing your hands in warm water for 2 to 3 minutes to increase circulation. Then perform slow finger opening and closing movements for 2 minutes. After that, use a light grip resistance tool for controlled squeezing and release cycles. Finally, finish with gentle shaking of the hands for 30–60 seconds to activate nerve reflex pathways. The best timing is once in the morning and once in the evening. Each session should last around 8 to 10 minutes. The goal is not intensity, but precision and repetition. Over time, this trains the nervous system to send clearer signals while improving blood flow to the small muscles of the hands. A harmless side effect some people notice in the beginning is mild muscle fatigue or slight soreness, which is normal as unused muscles begin to reactivate. However, if there is sharp pain, swelling, or worsening tremor, the intensity should be reduced and a medical professional should be consulted. This combined approach works better than isolated methods because it restores coordination between systems rather than focusing on just one area. That is why many rehabilitation specialists prefer multi-system training over single exercise routines. Many people unknowingly slow their progress when trying to improve shaky hands because they focus on only one factor while ignoring the rest. One major mistake is expecting immediate results and stopping too early, even though nerve and muscle retraining requires consistent repetition over weeks. Another mistake is relying only on supplements or diet changes without any physical activation of the hands, which limits real functional improvement. A third mistake is avoiding use of the hands due to fear of worsening tremors, when in fact controlled use is what helps rebuild stability. A fourth common issue is ignoring overall circulation health, including walking, hydration, and posture, which all influence how well blood reaches the hands. The important reframe is this: shaky hands after 60 are not simply an unavoidable sign of aging, but often a combination of reduced nerve efficiency, muscle inactivity, and circulation slowdown. These are biological processes that can be supported and improved with consistent daily habits rather than accepted as permanent decline. Over the next 30 days, the goal is simple and realistic: restore functional confidence in your hands. This means committing to short daily activation exercises, improving circulation through warmth and movement, and supporting nerve health with proper nutrition. The focus is not perfection, but gradual improvement in control, steadiness, and grip confidence so that everyday tasks feel easier and safer again.